Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
I'm Office Bloke Daz.
Collectively we're the Office Blokes, aren't we?
Yep.
It is true. Staying behind, having a late one.
night.
Overtime cheat going in the morning.
Absolutely, yeah. Double time.
Was going to sign off on
time
it,
and a half.
Well, yeah. I mean, someone said it was going to be sunny and we were going to be outside doing stuff, and it's
Yeah, it went
I
cloudy,
know,
didn't it?
yeah. It's
It was
turned,
me that
hasn't
said
it?
it was going to be sunny this morning, man.
Well, that's what the weatherman said, wasn't it? But, you know.
When I came to work this morning, it was sunny.
Yeah.
Anyway, right. We've got a Patreon page that I think Office Bloke Mike is going to tell Office Bloke Daz to tell you all about.
Yep. Go and have a look at patreon.com. Put in Office Blokes React.
You're supposed to pass the book.
Hey, how was it?
So it's
Right.
just £1.50.
There you go.
Plenty of block content on there. Weekly podcast. Loads of Key and Peele. Malice at the Palace. Appreciate the support. £1.50.
£1.50. Yeah, we get one of them that's actually really good. That's Patreon exclusive. Is Key and Peele, the best of Megan and Andre.
Yeah.
And,
Dave's life, that.
Yeah, I took an absolute kicking on that one. So go and watch that if you don't like me. So
I think it's worth
There'd be massive influence.
Watch Patreon.
Watch the server crash.
See, does more of that one? Is it worth
That's why I said
again?
it. That's why I said it.
Is it worth trying it again, or do you think it'll just get blocked again?
Can't react to it twice unless you re-upload it.
No, I thought that was the best of. I thought there was more.
There's probably more Megan and Andre.
Like a series of it.
It was a compilation that we did.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
okay.
Yeah. Anyway, maybe.
Right, we digress. Players banned from the NBA.
What would you get banned for? Maybe you get suspension, but banned, drug use.
Betting,
Gambling,
maybe.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of gamblers in the NBA, isn't there?
Yeah.
From what I gather, from what I've heard.
Deliberately
Match fixing and things like that.
Yeah.
putting someone out forever.
Yeah. I guess we'll find out.
Fouls, yeah, maybe.
Let's do it then. Players banned from the NBA.
We've seen NBA players hit with ridiculous fines for a variety of reasons, but these NBA players managed to get themselves banned from the league. Before Chris Anderson, or better known as the Birdman, would go on to become a local treasure with the Miami Heat fans during the LeBron era, he had been falling on hard times with substance abuse while with the Hornets during the 2004-2005 season. A season later in 2006, his troubles threatened to jeopardize his future in the NBA when he tested positive for drugs with the NBA. While it was never released what drugs Anderson had been doing, we do know they were hard drugs considering NBA rules. Anderson received a permanent ban from the league, and he was denied an option to appeal for reinstatement for at least 2 years. Had he tested positive for either marijuana or steroids, the league would have initially started out with fines. However, league rules state that coming out positive once for drugs considered in the category of abuse constitutes a ban. The drugs on that list are LSD, meth, heroin, codeine, morphine, and PCP. The Hornets were faced with no other option but to have released Anderson until he made good on his reinstatement. That was if he did. The owner of the Hornets, George Shen, released a statement following his forced departure from the league, saying, "We're obviously disappointed and saddened to hear Chris has been dismissed from the league. On behalf of his teammates, coaches, and the entire organization, we wish him well and hope he learns from this experience." Anderson began to use the time to get clean for good while he worked in his game to prepare for reinstatement in the league in 2008. To accomplish this, Anderson attended a rehab center in Malibu, California for a few months before going off to train with fellow NBA players to help him get back his game. 2 years later in 2008, Anderson had done just that. Despite sporting a few more tattoos on his neck and arms, Anderson had finally been clean. He was even able to join up with the Hornets while they were in the mid-swing of the 2008-2009 season. Hornets GM Jeff Bauer said the team had been long anticipating his return, saying, "We're always more concerned with Chris Anderson the person rather than Chris Anderson the player. We're pleased that he's taken the appropriate measures to get himself reinstated by the NBA. We'll now begin the process of getting him back on the court and back in a Hornets uniform as quickly as possible." Before he would change his name to be known as Meadow.
That's really good that the team supported him there, I think.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
He was obviously troubled, but what I never understand is these athletes, like, I mean, I guess when you've got so much money and so much stuff around you, that's very tempting to fall into that.
People whispering in your ear as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad apples that sort of like click onto you when you've got that kind of money and that kind of like lifestyle where, you know, you're like a rock star.
Yeah.
But a rock star can go out and do all the drugs they want to do. There's no testing for a rock star.
No.
Or they may be testing, but there's no.
A lot of it's seen as part of.
There's no mandatory drug test.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, but when you got sport and you're being drug tested randomly, regularly, then it's a no-brainer. You're not gonna get past them. You're not gonna get past it.
Problem is, it stems from the fact that, you know, a lot of drugs can be sort of like be deemed to be helping them, like your steroids and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know,
performance enhancement.
Exactly. So that's the sort of like starting point, I guess, isn't it? Definitely in sport, anyway.
He said codeine was on the list.
Yeah.
I know that's a derivative of cocaine, isn't it? But it's a prescription painkiller, codeine.
It's painkiller normally,
you
isn't
get it over the counter.
In certain countries you can't get that.
Really?
Yeah. When I lived in the UAE, you couldn't get it.
Wow. Yeah, I had a mate years ago that was prone
and if you take it into the country as well, it's
jail.
Because I think I've heard that. I think I've seen things like that in the news sort of recently.
Yeah.
People getting pulled for that.
I had a mate years ago that broke bones for fun. Like, he was made of glass. He just always used to break bones.
Oh, I thought he was like a bouncer.
No. He
You
like
need that sorting, 50 quid, I'll go and sort it out.
he got really unlucky, but he also just broke easily. And he got prescribed a load of codeine, and he just had a drawer full of it because he kept breaking bones
Did he?
that often.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, yeah, just pop a codeine and have a glass of wine in the evening. It's great. I was like, that's how it starts. That is exactly. But
People do get addicted to him, don't they, as well?
Yeah, but it never, he's a conscientious guy.
Yeah.
Never.
Do you know this guy is?
I'm not saying he did, but...
Is he the one, because they just alluded to changing his name, is he the one that was called something?
World Peace.
Was it World Peace?
Was it World Peace or something like that?
I can't remember, but I pointed it out at the time, didn't I? Saying what a weird name.
Right. I forgot he was Ron Artest.
At a world peace. He ironically was not a very peaceful person from when we called him Ron Artest. One of the biggest highlights of his career didn't take place in the form of a game-winning shot or even something infamous like a scandal. Ron is known for inciting the biggest NBA brawl in the history of the sport. During the final 45 seconds of a matchup between the Pacers and the Pistons, Rasheed Wallace goes up for a shot, and he gets fouled hard by Artest. Wallace is noticeably aggravated by the foul and shoves Artest. A typical team versus team huddle follows the shove to keep both players from launching off punches. The teams eventually calm down, and when they're waiting for a ref call, Artest can be seen on the scorer's table, and he has a drink thrown at him from the crowd. Artest jumps from his position, now running up to the fan he thinks threw the drink. He just started throwing punches. All pieces broken once again, and now other Piston fans start to move in on the fight, which only leads to Pacer players to come up to the rows to fight the fans back. The site's so chaotic that even the commentators seem to be having a hard time describing what exactly was taking place. At some point, a fan even gets in the court and starts another fight, now nearby the Pistons bench. As the players are finally being escorted out, Piston fans start throwing drinks, food, really anything they could get their hands on at the Pacers players and staff. We'd come to find out later that Artest's first punch to the fan that started the whole incident wasn't even the same fan that had thrown the drink. He mistaken the fan for someone else. John Green, who was the man who launched the Diet Coke, starting the whole incident, later admitted, "I was sitting there talking to my buddy, and I asked, does anyone have a Diet Coke with ice in it? I bet I could hit him with this cup. I just launched it in the air underhanded, went up like a perfect dart, hit him right in the chest." Now it was time for the NBA to send out his punishment. Artest was suspended for the rest of the 2004-2005 regular season and any playoff games, which ultimately amounted to 86 games missed. Fellow Pacer Steven Jackson, along with Jermaine O'Neal, was suspended indefinitely. All players involved had to undergo community service. As for the fan, some were charged and banned from the Pistons Stadium for life. In terms of injuries, 9 fans were hit and 2 had injuries bad enough they had to go to the hospital. Starting out his career in 1967,
lawsuit.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, if you were the wrong guy that got punched just when he's going up, then you'd be mad not to, wouldn't you? That's a shoe-in.
I don't know what the terms and conditions are on the back of a ticket. I don't think anyone's ever read them.
No,
but I know there's one that says like keep off the playing surface of whether it's a pitch, field, court, rink, whatever it may be. You're not supposed to enter the
field of play
area, field of play. So I don't know if the guy who came down, and got banjoed there, if he's he's breaking the law first.
Yeah, I mean he should.
The guy in the crowd, who just didn't do anything and got got a lug warmer.
I think sometimes when someone's gone like that, you can see he's been brawling, and then he's obviously over there brawling. People are trying to calm him down. Leave him alone. Yeah, don't go and try and reason with him. Don't go, What
you got to remember as well with a lot of basketball players, a lot of them are street kids. They're not brought up in a way, because basketball is similar to football, what we play. Yeah, that you don't need a lot of equipment. You just need a ball.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And you play, as soon as you've got that ball, you're playing.
Yeah,
so it's like a street or like a council project, whatever you want to put it down, is you can play that anywhere.
Yeah, you don't need the expensive gear like hockey, do you? And things that way. You need
football,
all the pads and
football, NFL, all that. You need everything. You need loads of equipment. But with soccer and with basketball, you need a ball.
Just a ball. That's it. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
7. Roger Brown signed with the Indiana Pacers, which at the time had been a part of the ABA. With the ABA, Brown went on to become one of the greatest players to ever play in the league prior to the ABA-NBA merger that took place in 1976. During his days as a Pacer, Brown had gone on to score a career total of 10,498 points, which averaged out to 17 points per game, along with winning 3 ABA championships. However, something had happened to Brown before success with the ABA that cost him his chance to ever play in the NBA even after the merger.
Just a question I've got there for people to answer is the merger of ABA and NBA in 76. Is that where Philadelphia got the 76ers name from?
Ooh.
Was that when they were formed? I don't know if they were formed then or whatever happened. Come about. I just wonder if there's any association with the 76ers.
No.
Or is it 1776?
1776.
From the American independence.
Because it was signed in Philadelphia, wasn't it?
Possibly, yeah.
That's because we reacted to a video the other day.
Well, I thought that originally.
Yeah.
But that obviously dates back. But then the merger, when he mentioned the merger there in 76, I wasn't sure if that's when
maybe they formed as a team
for the NBA there. I don't know, it's come up as that new name.
Interesting.
I don't know. It'll just be interesting to find out on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe tied in with the other one, so they put them both together.
Yeah. I don't know how long they've been the 76ers for. It might have been the 76ers since fucking 1912. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That'd be interesting, that.
After a successful high school career, Brown went on to get accepted with a full scholarship to play at the University of Dayton. His freshman season, Brown continued to dominate as he had in high school. However, disaster struck shortly after Brown befriended Jack Molinas. Molinas had been at one time a Colombian All-American NBA player, but he'd been banned from the NBA for illegally betting on games. And despite Brown never being caught betting on games, his close relationship with Molinas had been enough to raise suspicion. And it'd later be found out that Brown had been working loosely enough with Molinas to justify banning any chance Brown would have in the NBA, along with ripping up his scholarship with the University of Dayton. Brown left the college and went through a period of despair while he lived in New York, working dead-end jobs. He'd eventually clean his act and return to Dayton, Ohio to work the night shift at a General Motors plant. His luck had come back around in 1967 when the ABA had just formed. The ABA and general manager of the Pacers discovered Brown when they acted on a tip that Oscar Robinson had informed them about Brown's playing ability. Now 25 years old, Brown started his basketball career with the rival ABA in 1967. He'd go on to continue playing until the NBA merger, where he decided to leave the league out of loyalty for the ABA because of his second chance they'd given him. Despite having been banned from the league in the early 60s, Brown's retired jersey could still be found hanging in the Pacers Stadium to commemorate the 3 championships he led the team to in the early 70s in the ABA. OJ Mayo's habits of breaking league rules
9 years
started just before he got drafted.
It fell apart for him. He played professionally again for another 9 years.
Yeah.
So fair play to him.
Good on him, yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like a pretty loose thing for banning him, doesn't it? You know, if they can't prove that he was betting, but he was associated with someone that was.
Yeah,
but you can't be associated either. That's the, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a massive thing, especially with the mob and all that over there. They don't get involved in different things, and match fixing, and you know, it's a big.
Maybe there's quite a lot more to it than sort of like
the
statements putting out
possibly.
There, but,
yeah.
Match fixing's watched very, 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 very closely without us all knowing.
Yeah, so it should be.
It's monitored like you wouldn't believe. I know people who used to be in the football industry, the soccer industry over here, and they've got associations still with certain clubs, and even if they gamble, they're watched and warned on what they can and can't gamble on, and they have nothing to do with it.
Do you remember the fat goalkeeper?
The pie.
Yeah, who ate the pie, and it turned out he'd put a bet on the fact that he'd eat a pie during the game.
Yeah.
And he got in a lot of trouble for that, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He got banned.
I think he was like, wasn't he like the foreman of the club? Not the club. He was
club secretary, was he?
He was like a big part of the club, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was also the groundsman.
Believe
it or not.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
I can't remember what team it was now, but it was a non-league team. And,
it was.
Must have known that he wouldn't get away with that.
Yeah.
Drafted in the NBA in 2008. During his freshman year playing ball at the University of Southern California, Mayo had proven to be an excellent player. His abilities on the court attracted the attention of sports agencies who had already started scouting Mayo for representation for his eventual draft in the NBA. One of those agencies had been Billy Duffy Associate Sports Management. While playing in college, it was discovered that Mayo had been accepting gifts from the agency, which in the eyes of the NCAA was a gross overstep of league policy. The controversy forced Mayo to end his college days after just a year of playing. That same year in 2008, Mayo was drafted to the Memphis Grizzlies as the 3rd pick in the draft. Mayo would go on to lead a fairly dramaless career in the NBA as he went on to be an asset for the teams he played for until 2016. And during the 2016 preseason, it had been found that Mayo had been violating the league's anti-drug policy when he tested positive for using painkillers. He'd been the first player to receive a ban in over a decade since Chris Anderson's ban for the same offense in 2006. Similar to Anderson, Mayo received a permanent ban that restricted Mayo from ever reinstating into the league for at least 2 years. After receiving the ban, Mayo decided to go public with the issues that ultimately led to his behavior. While in the league, Mayo dealt with his father's sentence to prison for 10 years for the distribution of drugs. His younger brother passed away in juvenile jail, while another close friend had been killed. The stress that he faced off the court created the perfect situation for him to start using drugs, so he did. Mayo talked about spending time away from basketball for the first time in his life, saying, "Taking the game away was probably the closest thing to jail I'll get to. Since I was like 6 or 7, I've always had a basketball season. That was the lowest point in my entire life. The shell shock of not being in the NBA, all my peers are playing and I'm not because of my boneheaded mistakes. Take the ball away? What is there to do? I didn't get a phone call last summer from anyone besides my family for 40 days. People who called me every day didn't call me for 2 or 3 months. I still haven't talked to some people who I talk to every week. Everybody was off. I was tripping. Well, I see how the world is now. That was rock bottom." And despite him being ruled eligible for reinstatement in 2018, Mayo never returned to the NBA, and he's since played international ball in Puerto Rico, Taiwan, and even China. Sherman White became better.
Wow.
Find out who your friends are when it all goes to shit.
I mean, look at the guy's had so much fucking bad luck in his life there, but again, it's one of them. You only realise what you miss when it's too late.
Yeah.
And it's gone, and you fucked it up basically.
There were circumstances why he did it, like genuine ones, weren't there? You know, for going into drugs. So you think if they talk to people like that, if the league put someone in front of him to talk through it, give him some help and maybe don't ban him for 2 years, but go through a program of helping him rehabilitate him in like a shorter period. If it's like a genuine sort of like cry for help sort of thing.
Yeah, but I think with that, Mike, what you've got as well, you've got to learn that someone's got to be made an example. Otherwise, people will do it knowing that there's a safety net.
Yeah.
They're just going to give me help, and I'll still be here, being 2 years, earning me, $20-30 million a year, whatever.
Yeah, my wife's leaving me, so I'm going to take drugs for a couple of weeks, and then just blame it on my personal circumstances.
Yeah, I suppose. It's a fine balancing act, I suppose, isn't it, between punishment and sort of rehabilitation.
A lot of these big clubs now, whether it be your Lakers type, for example. I know probably all the NBA. Well, I'm sure pretty much all the NBA teams do it, as do all the NFL, as do all the Premier League teams and below. They offer counselling and help and support to make sure you don't go down that path. They stop it before they educate you before you go down that path.
Mm-hmm.
So you're told what to do at certain levels, especially part of your
which is
contracts
good.
as well. All comes under your part of your contracts, and if you violate that contract, you're done. You're earning big money, man. You're living a dream that people only dream of living. So you're a part of that. And if you can't be an icon, and the kids look up to you, and that's the other thing. You got the juveniles who are looking up to these people, and you're saying, that's my hero.
Yeah,
if your hero fucking takes smack, mate.
Yeah.
He's not such a hero now.
I suppose there's always going to be one or two that slip through the net. I suppose.
Yeah, and you don't want him with your jersey on when that happens.
That's true. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
we don't want to see a guy smoking crack cocaine down the road with an office bloke fucking merch on, do we?
But he does. But
yeah, he takes it off sometimes.
Doesn't iron it, but
you think I smoke crack? Look at me. Jesus Christ, think that'd be my drug of choice. Pies are my drug of choice.
Anyway, Shimon White.
Known for his illegal activities surrounding college ball than he ever did as a player. White had been a model all-star throughout his day playing college ball at Long Island University. Averaging over 27 points per game, it was said White was almost certainly going to be drafted as the #1 pick for the 1951 NBA draft. Despite being on a basketball scholarship at LIU, White struggled financially to help his family, who lived in the neighborhood borough of Brooklyn. Midway through his junior year of school, White began to notice that several of his teammates had been appearing off in their games from time to time. White began connecting the dots together in a matchup against North Carolina State, where he noticed one teammate began to obviously throw a bad pass to him. During his senior season, not only had White become fully aware of the point-shaving scandal many of his fellow teammates had been a part of, he began to join them. White talked about starting out saying, "After that NC State game, Eddie Gard befriends me. We sat down and started talking. He brought in Big O's and Furtado. He gave me the same old story. We controlled the game. We're good enough to beat these guys anyway, and we can make some money. They ain't giving you no money here at LIU. Same old story. We can control the game and nobody will get hurt except the gamblers. Now I'm one of the guys." Peer pressure. And the entire operation had been orchestrated through Eddie Gard, who'd been working with Salvatore Salazzo. Salvatore had been a 45-year-old jeweler and gambler who during the 1930s had spent 5 years in prison. Since his days in the pen, Salvatore became notorious for his point-shaving scandals he schemed throughout New York City schools. And it wouldn't be long until people started to notice. As soon as they did, a police investigation ensued that eventually led to White being faced with serious criminal charges. Sadly, a day before his imprisonment, White had been recognized as the Sporting News Player of the Year. Following his charges, White was sentenced to 12 months at Riker Island Prison, which had been notorious for hardened criminals, gangsters, and murderers. White talked about serving time at Rikers, saying, "To this day, I believe there was some kind of collaboration between my lawyer and the prosecutor. Rikers Island was supposed to have been built for rehabilitation, but it was the worst place in the world for a kid to try and straighten out his life. I often wonder why I never came out of there a criminal. With all the characters and perverts I met, certainly would have been the easy way to go." Following his release, the NBA had banned him. Only after he found out, the Knicks were prepared to place a territorial pick on him. Electing to forego the remainder of the 3 years he had left in college, Tyreke Evans declared for the 2000.
This is a different guy now, isn't it?
Yeah.
What a sad story that is.
Yeah, and it's true about when you go to prison sometimes. These prisons don't rehabilitate.
No. No, but when you alluded to the mob before, that was blatantly the mob, wasn't it?
Well, whenever you get into match fixing and things like that, it's very, very high up. It's very senior level of
high level
corruption. The FIFA guys are on trial at the moment, aren't they? UEFA guys, UEFA.
Supposedly ill, wasn't he? Too ill to stand trial or something to start with, but
I'd make him ill.
Well, he was in the 1950s, wasn't he?
Got 20 quid on 8 to 1 that he dies during the trial.
Dark. Yeah, in the 1950s, though, I know he's a college ball player, but then if he would have gone to the NBA and stuff like that, would he have made proper money back then?
Say that again, sorry. Say that.
So
in the 50s, yeah, of course he would have, yeah.
So like that, it would obviously not today's level of money. So that's just insane. But
maybe
it still would have been. It still would have been not equivalent, but it still would have been very high.
It would have been really well off.
Anyway, where you're getting people watching it and betting.
Yeah.
What you got to remember is sports turns around betting. That's where money's made. You look at the boxing. Why do you think boxers get so many big packets for a small arena in Las Vegas? Why are the fights in Las Vegas? Big fights.
Yeah.
Because it's all the gambling that goes into it.
You have to see the sponsorships these days, don't you?
Massively,
Football clubs,
massive.
football teams, and everything.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely
But the
everywhere.
gambling, when you look at gambling companies across the planet, and you look how big they are. Every gambling company's huge.
I know, billions in profits.
Even the guy
and
who
stuff.
fucking sits in a corner in a pub taking bets, he's got money.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Everyone's got money.
And with the advent of like smartphones, it's just got even bigger and bigger, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's got huge now.
I just wonder with the mob connections with shaving points there, and he's a black man in the 1950s in America.
Yep.
Is there anyone he could have actually turned to and gone, listen, this is happening? He was probably sort of
probably
under
not,
duress.
no.
You know, he probably had
Yeah.
to take
I
part.
think they alluded to that, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not excusing it, but he may have literally had no option. You know, it would have been like, who's going to believe you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
happens now. I can bet on anything now. I can go on my phone now and bet on fucking badminton that's taking place in Chile,
Yeah.
for example, or dog racing that's taking place in fucking Australia. And it's just, and that's what I do sometimes. I can't sleep at night. I get my phone out, see what fucking sports I can bet on, and I'm reading form of fucking, topless darts in fucking Guatemala. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Reading the form.
absolutely. And that's just the men.
Some great tits in men's topless darts.
Absolutely.
Just a bit.
Territorial pick on him. Electing to forego the remainder of the 3 years he had left in college, Tyreke Evans declared for the 2009 NBA draft, and he was selected by the Kings in the 4th pick of the first round. Starting off his first season with the Kings, Tyreke was able to comfortably solidify his place in the Kings as one of their premier scorers, as he averaged 20 points per game during his rookie season. Even after being traded to the Pelicans, back to the Kings, and eventually the Memphis Grizzlies, Tyreke's game continued to be remarkably consistent. That would be until his latest trade to the Indiana Pacers during the 2018-2019 season, which also happened to be the season he was permanently banned from the league for violating the league's drug policy. To be banned after just a single offense meant that whatever Tyreke had come positive for had to have been harder than marijuana. As similar to the cases prior to him, he forfeited the ability to be reinstated into the league for at least 2 years. When news had become widespread of his release from the NBA, the Pacers released a statement saying, "The Indiana Pacers were informed Friday by the NBA that Tyreke Evans has been dismissed from the league for a violation of the league's anti-drug policy. We take these matters seriously, and we'll reach out to Tyreke to offer our support." Even during this hiatus, Tyreke won't qualify to have a chance to be reinstated into the league until the 2021 season. Hey yo, dog. I'm gonna need you to click on this video on the screen, bro, or I'm gonna have to ban you from the channel.
It's a really interesting one. That quite sad though in a lot of
Well,
ways.
Tyreke Evans
isn't
come
it?
back. I don't know if he came back because he would have been eligible last year, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
He would,
I don't
yeah.
know if he's back in this season.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure someone will let us know
It's
on that.
wasted talent, a lot of it. Again, it's the wrong people around them, and it's it's the growing up of that ego that comes with the money.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, that's why they go through colleges and things like that to get the education that they need. We see it over here where we get 16, 17-year-old, 18-year-old kids coming through on contracts of $300,000 a week.
Yeah.
It's
Madness
and
in
you're
there.
like, fuck me,
It
mate.
is,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
it's-
And you know which route that's going to go. I mean, you only have to look at Gaza, people like that. Who,
Yeah.
it's a shame what's happened. Probably the most talented, gifted sportsman we've had out of England in a generation.
A long time. Oh, yeah. Easily.
And it's
Yeah.
and the way he's gone, it's a shame.
Again, a big waste as well, isn't it?
But again, the people he had around him, the peer pressure he had to go out drinking and drug taking and dicking about and just being a complete nuisance. Then it's all got to him in the end, and it's
A lot of hangers on and that, wanting a piece of him all the time.
especially Jimmy and all them people, his mates.
Unlimited money, so they think.
Exactly
and it's
that.
like, you guarantee that drug dealers are going to befriend people like that in the sense
100%,
like,
they are.
100%.
yes, bro, and like they become
Mate,
best
I see
mates.
him,
but
I
it's
see him,
like,
and I see drug dealers in the pubs, right, where I go, and I watch them, and I see as soon as someone wins some money, or if they win on the fruit machine, or if they win at the horses or the gambling, they get a payout or whatever, or they stand at the bar and they get a stack of cash out. The minute they go to the toilet, I see fucking 2 or 3 of them jump up and they're all fucking following them in, and I'm like, look at them like fucking flies on shit.
Yeah.
But they're only doing their job. If they didn't, they wouldn't be doing the job. And I don't agree with it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not agreeing with it.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't be doing their job if they didn't do that.
Yeah.
yeah.
you know what I mean?
You're right.
That's what they're there for, sort
But
of thing.
if you can become best mates with a sports star who's earning $300,000 a week or $400,000 a week,
It's a higher caliber customer.
you're
course it is,
just like a leech, aren't you? You just attached yourself to the guy,
and it's
you're
all the
gonna drain
people. It's all
blood.
the people with them as well. All the other people that they
yeah.
attract as well.
Yeah.
It's not only
You know.
it's not only the drug people that do that. Restaurateurs do it, right? And then restaurateurs bring in the drug dealers and say, "Look who's here. He might be looking for some." And then the restaurateur, the waiter, they're picking up on it and they're saying, "I can get it, yeah."
Yeah.
And then next thing they go to their contacts. Next thing they've got a table free. There's always a table free. There's a table free. The drug guys come in. They sit down. They're relaxing. They're eating the dinners, whatever. They've got an eye on it, one eye. And next thing the deal's done. We're not even you even seeing it. You don't even know it's in a restaurant.
Yeah.
But that's the chain of what happens. That's the chain of happenings.
Yeah.
And you see it if you know it and you know how it works. As soon as you see it once, you see it fucking every single minute of every day on the restaurants you go in and bars. And it does help if you know who the fucking players are as well. When you think, watch this guy. I got to work there. Watch this guy over here now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Next thing, he's up and down. He's 10 shits a fucking hour, this guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. In and out of fucking sort. You were with me in one of the pubs, I think, once.
Oh, yeah.
And I fucking pointed out to you.
It was in Simply Village.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, you can see it a mile off.
And I pointed to you, I said, look at these guys. They haven't got diarrhea.
Yeah. In and out all the time.
I went to the toilet. It was fucking 10 of them queuing up to go in a stall.
Yeah.
And I went, fucking have you all had something bad? As I walked in, they were all just looking at me, looking down at the floor.
Yeah. I ate something bad and then drank a load of beer and was literally stood outside a cubicle in a pub about to shit my pants. And I was knocking on the door and I'm like, God, this is getting bad. And
I'm going to do an Amber Heard.
No, it wouldn't have been that.
No, it's rhyming slang now, isn't it?
Yeah, no, but it wouldn't have been that. It wouldn't have been that. It would have been pure liquid.
Yeah.
And like finally these guys come out of the toilet and it's like
Two at a time.
five guys came out of a little cubicle
It's like fucking
oh
arc
shit,
when they
sorry
come
mate.
out.
And I'm like, you need food chips.
Sorry.
Yeah,
All that.
exactly.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But it's you spot them out, and they're primed for it. They're just fucking primed.
It's
And without the right agency or the right management or the right friendship group around you, you're fucking running a fine line.
It's good that the teams seem to support them.
Absolutely.
Like they're saying, they stick by them, they offer them support for 2 years until hopefully they can come back.
Yeah,
Because they'll get them back on a reduced contract as well.
Yeah.
The teams
No one
don't
else
do
wants
it.
them.
Teams don't do it. Well, people might want them, and that's what you do. But you're our player still, so we're going to support you.
That you
And
get
show
loyalty.
is, loyalty.
But,
But when you do come back, you're coming back here first and
Maybe
foremost.
reduce sport, keep your nose clean for a couple of years and then look at it again.
There's always a reason behind
maybe.
anyone fucking showing loyalty like that of coming back, because it's your play. And if you imagine if you come out and said, "Oh, the Pistons said you're right, swat, and you can't do this and you can't do that, and you're banned for life and go and F yourself," Pistons will look bad.
True.
They've got to come out. It's a PR campaign now. It's a clean up campaign.
Certainly part of it, isn't it? They've got to seem to be doing the right thing, haven't they?
Yeah, because if you put him down, then you're part of the problem.
Yeah.
Whether it be match fixing, drug taking, fighting, whatever it may be, you're part of the problem because they're wearing your shirt. And as long as they've got your shirt on, they're a part of your property.
Of course.
Yeah.
And you've got to make sure they shine because otherwise you lose fans, you lose credibility, you lose sponsorship, you lose everything that goes about it.
It's still an asset for you, aren't they? Still an asset. So
it's huge.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
No, I like stuff
It's
like
good.
that.
That
good video,
really
though, wasn't
interesting.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
really good. Really good.
Hope you guys enjoyed that too. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.